How you doing?
Good, how are you?
I'm good, thank you. Okay. So first, we're gonna get started with a little get to know you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna get to know. Just tell us a little bit about yourself and a little bit about your pole vault journey.
Yeah, sure. So I'm from Brazil. I started pole vaulting when I was 15. But I first started in the high jump. But back then I was like 5'9", and I knew I had
Nice.
to be like, I don't know, 6'2", 6'3" to be
A little
good in
bit,
high
a
jump.
little bit, yeah.
A little bit higher maybe, taller. And then my coach looked at me, so I had pretty long legs. I was strong in the gym. I was like, why not take a chance at pole vault?
Of course.
Went to practice once, did horribly at pole vault.
It's
Took
usually
me
how that goes.
months to clear a bar, and when I mean by bar, I mean like 2 meters. So my first year in, I was able to jump 13.3, I guess. So it went from like 9 feet to 13 pretty quickly, and after that, it just kind of started having more fun with it, and
Started to click things
yeah,
together. Yeah.
things started to click, technique wise, strength, because I was never the guy that was good at something, straight from the beginning. I was never blessed at soccer or volleyball or anything that I played before pole vault. So I really had to put in the work and put a lot of effort in it. And yeah, things really took off after that.
That's dope. So what's your PR currently?
I don't know in feet, but it should be around 5'11" in meters.
Yeah,
I'm
16,
not
10,
really good with the imperial.
It's okay.
Yeah.
Foreign things, we do meters around here because that's what they do in college. So one piece of advice: learn meters, because in college they don't use feet. We're just using meters.
Exactly.
But yeah,
Otherwise, you would just be jumping bars instead of knowing what you're jumping.
But sometimes that can be good.
Sometimes it could be good.
But yeah, so tell us a little bit about any piece of advice you would want to give to the younger generation and when they're starting out pole vault. Any advice you have for the younger kids or anything like that?
Well, I would say pole vault is a very specific event, so try not to be frustrated when things are not working out. That happened to me a lot when I started the event. So just keep grinding, really, because you're gonna see improvement.
Definitely.
After a while. Just put in the work, put in 1% a day, and you see it's gonna start. Things are gonna start looking good for you.
Definitely, yeah. 1% better every day. Give it your all every time you go to practice. When you get on the runway, block everything out. Just give it your all. Because you'll get better if you put everything you have into the event. Yeah. That's one thing that I noticed across every pole vault that I've ever met. As long as they're actually putting in the work, they always get better.
Yeah. And get faster as well.
Definitely.
That's a really good advice.
Build that speed on the runway. Build that speed off the runway. Just get as fast as you can, because pole vault's one of those things. The faster you are, the bigger poles you'll get on, and the higher they'll throw you.
100%.
Definitely.
90, as they say, 90% is your run and plan. The rest is just consequence.
The rest is just what happens because of because of the run and all that.
The run up, yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, sometimes it goes wrong, sometimes it goes really well. But yeah, were there any what was the biggest thing you were working on in high school, and what was your biggest weakness in the pole vault that you were trying to improve on in high school?
So yeah, I had a pretty rough patch in high school, because when I was 15, I moved to Australia, and I didn't have a coach with me in Australia, so I had to kind of work on my own and get any advice from my teammates back then. So I didn't really know what I should work on. I watched a lot of videos. I knew I had to work on my plant and bottom arm, because I would collapse a lot. So I did a lot of drills off the runway.
What kind of drills were those?
Just normal plant drills on the wall with a soft pole.
Yeah.
So I used to do like a little approach, like a walking approach, and then try to work on my bottom arm.
I think we called those wall plants.
Wall plants, yeah, wall plants. Yeah. So I did a lot of those. I wasn't really strong core wise, so I had to do a lot of bobkas and stuff, because I wouldn't be able to rock back fully when I was in high school. I would always flag off the pole. So I worked a lot on that too, and speed as well. But I wish I'd worked more in high school. I was studying a lot and just competing instead of practicing. So yeah, an advice to my younger self would be work on the little things, work on speed, work on not little things, but work on more things instead of just trying to get a PR after PR, but actually go on and do and put in the work.
Yeah, no, yeah, I definitely see that a lot with a lot of pole vaulters. They always say like, I wish I would have done a little bit more in high school because in high school you're kind of just having fun with it. You kind of just want another PR, but the more work you put in high school, the more it'll show in the end and when you get to college and stuff like that, because that's your time to really figure stuff out and like put the little things together so that once you get to college and the international level like you are, you can kind of dial in on the more technique type things. But definitely just work as hard as you can in high school so that once you get to the position that we're in, you don't have to think, what if I would have just worked a little bit harder in high school and stuff like that. So definitely the run a ton. I know running probably isn't fun in high school, but the more you run in high school, the easier it'll be once you get to the meets and once you get to college and stuff like that, because you're already figured out your run rather than trying to fix a bunch of different things in your run, because that's probably the hardest thing to fix in my opinion, the runway. 100%. So the earlier you can get started with that and putting those together, I think the better off you'll be. But so what kind of equipment did you use, like as far as spikes or as far as a pole vault setup and stuff like that in high school? How was your setup?
Except for poles, you mean?
Well, yeah, I mean all that kind of stuff, like in one. What kind of stuff, like what kind of poles did you use? What kind of spikes were you on? What kind of pole vault pit did you have and stuff like that?
So as I mentioned before, I used to do the high jump. So the first spikes I used for pole vault were improvised high jump spikes. So I pretty much just took out the spikes at from the heels and used that. That was awful. I was super slow on the runway. But it worked out for the first months, and then I just got normal pole vault spikes. If I'm not mistaken, I think the first ones were the ones from Rio Olympics, like the green and pink. Those are pretty gnarly.
Yeah, those are pretty nice.
But poles wise, I only had a very limited set of poles when I started jumping. It was like 2 or 3 poles, and weird flexes, weird weights. I think the stiffest pole I had was like a 445 pole, a 14.6, and the weight was like 160, and I was weighing like 150 at the time. So that pole would not
it wasn't really doing much.
It was, and I was gripping pretty high on it. So I had a pretty rough beginning of my pole vault journey for sure, because of the limited equipment that we have in Brazil. And then when I went to Australia, I had just a couple more poles. It wasn't even it
wasn't like you got a big butt. It was just a couple more.
Since I got here, I've had a lot of poles, but back when I started was very very limited. But I had to work with what I had for sure. So I was gripping lower. I was running from fewer steps. So I had to do what I had to do basically. And when it comes to like the actual like equipment, like pit and standards and whatnot, those were pretty bad too. In Brazil, there's only, I would say, 5 to 10 pole vault pits max in the whole country, and it's a pretty big country if you guys don't know. And the pits were square and small, so we had to be very careful. Which I was not, but
it sounds like you got to be careful, because I know. If I was jumping out there, it probably wouldn't have gone well.
It probably would not. No,
it probably wouldn't have gone well, because I need every inch of that mat. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, I mean, as far as pole vault setups, I mean, it's good that you were able to get as good as you did with the equipment that you had, because, like I said, when he first got here and he was telling us about all the stuff he was jumping on, he was showing it, I was like, I don't know how you did it, bro.
Yeah.
Like, the amount of equipment I had compared to the amount of equipment you had growing up was completely different, and you're still jumping insanely high. So that's pretty impressive, honestly. So what are a piece of advice as far as spikes or anything like that you would recommend for the younger generation? Because I know now we wear Adidas and kind of only have the choice to wear Adidas, but did you ever rock any Nike spikes or Adidas?
So I think the first good spikes I had were the Adizero Adidas spikes. Those are, if I'm not mistaken, are triple jump. Those are pretty good. But if I could pick only one, I would say the Nike Air Zoom. The long jump ones are really good, really fast. I think those are the spikes that I'm most comfortable with. Here at USF, we have to use Adidas, which are really good as well. The ones we have now are specific for pole vault. I really like those. But I don't know, there's a specific thing about the Nike that I really like. I think it just feels more springy, if that makes sense.
I know.
You really feels like you're levitating on the runway, So I really like that feeling, of being very tall and springy
and bouncy. Yeah. I had a teammate in my last school. He wore the long jump with the little bubble in him.
Yeah, exactly.
He said he loved them.
It's
and
so good.
It worked well for him. But I was still on the pole vault 2, the Nike pole vault 2s.
Yeah.
And for me, they always felt really good because they were tight and they kept my foot locked in, which is my biggest thing. I don't want to feel my foot like walking around inside the shoe or anything like that. So I think the Adidas shoes that we wear right now, as far as I'm concerned, are my favorite shoe. But I did wear the Nike pole vault 2s, and I jumped really high in those, and they felt really good on the runway. So I really like the Nike stuff, but I think you can jump high in any shoes as long as you're confident and you're 100%. Doing the right thing on the runway.
It's just an extra at the end of the day.
It's just one of those things that's added.
Yeah.
So how would you think that competing internationally has helped your pole vault, like, all around?
So in 2022, I had my first international meet. It was in Brazil. Actually, it was a South Americans under 23. I got third. Really great meet. First time I was actually competing against the best in the continent, actually in South America. I PR'd that day. It was a 480, if I'm not wrong. Yeah, 480. First time jumping over 480. So great meet. I didn't have many poles as per usual, but I worked with what I had on that meet. And then the year after, I had under 20s, so junior, also South Americans. So that was in Colombia. Also a great meet. Also got third and also jumped 480. So not much improvement for that meet. But as it was in Bogota, the city's really high up. So if I'm not wrong, I think 2,000 meters from sea level. So I was running really fast with not many poles. I was blowing through pretty much every jump, but a great experience as well. Jumping with one of the best under 18 pole vaulters ever, Ricardo. He jumped like 560 as a 17-year-old, which is absolutely
insane.
Mental.
That is insane.
But this year in Colombia as well, I had one of my best meets ever. I jumped 510 with a 15.7, gripping like at 14.9. So that was a really good meet. I was really, really prepared for it. It was also in Colombia, and I got second. Almost got first against Ricardo as well. So he wasn't having his best performances, and I was. So nearly got the gold medal from him.
Almost got him.
But
you're gonna get that gold medal soon.
Yeah, soon.
Yeah. But so how do you think that competing internationally has helped you all around in the pole vault?
I think the whole experience of competing for your country has shaped me in the athlete I am now. Just representing not just myself but the whole nation is just something you only feel a couple times in your life, and that's one of the things I strive for now, and motivates me, and I want to be Olympian once. So competing in those smaller meets such as South Americans just helps me get that motivation and strive for the bigger meets, and also financially as well. Every time I compete internationally, I get that extrinsic motivation of getting the sponsorships I get every time. Just experience in general of competing against the best and representing something bigger is just sick.
That sounds dope. I would love to do that. Hopefully one day I get to. But
100%,
hey, LA 2028, you'll see him. I promise. So do you think that athletes should still compete over the summer and maybe in AAU and stuff like that? Because I know for me, once I pole vaulted, like once I was finished with the pole vault season, I went straight to basketball. I was not rocking with pole vault. I wanted to go play basketball. So would you recommend that kids continue to pole vault even through the summer and try to pole vault as much as they can in the off season and stuff like that? Do you think summer helps out?
100%. It's good that during the summer there's no classes, so it's pretty much just you and training and whatever you have going on, and it's a great time for you to get better at things you're not really good at. So during this summer, I really improved my bottom arm and my plant. I was struggling with it during last season. I was always under. I was always collapsing my bottom. When I would rock back, I would pull my bottom arm a lot. And during the summer, that's pretty much all I focused on. And I got also stronger and faster. I got on bigger poles. That's why I PR'd during the summer. It wasn't even last season. Last season I was jumping 5 meters. And during the summer, in one of the first meets, I jumped 5'11".
Yeah.
Which is really good, and with a much better technique as well. I was jumping more. I mean, I was jumping higher from fewer steps as well. So yeah, that's my piece of advice. Just keep going for the summer, because I know it's a long season in the spring, but the fall semester is also pretty big. So it's good for you to have that mental break from competition during the fall.
Definitely.
And just focus, on progressing towards the spring. But I think it's really important to just keep the momentum going on during the summer. At least for a bit, and then if you want to have like a couple weeks off, you can, and then go on to jump from a shorter approach. That's gonna help too.
No, yeah, I think it helped a lot, because like you said, like I was here for the whole thing. Like,
Yeah.
I saw last season's where you were jumping last season, and then what you ended up doing during the summer. And
Yeah.
when I told, like, that was a long season. Like,
Yeah,
it was a really long season. And I mean,
Yeah.
as far as pole vault goes, like, you need that. Like, pole vault's one of those things that you only get better if you pole vault. You can't get better pole vaulting if you're playing basketball or playing soccer or something like that, playing football. So I think that the summertime is the time where you get to really, like, hammer in the hard stuff and fix the things that you might have been doing wrong. So bottom arms, runs, steps on being under, and stuff like that. Like, you can really drill those during the summertime and get your drills right, so that once you come back in the fall, if you
just ready to
go. You're just ready to go, and the next season should be pretty.
There's a one thing that my coach always says to me back in Brazil. It takes 10,000 reps for you to master a skill. So imagine what 10,000 reps of pole vault looks like. It's a lot of jumps. 10,000 jumps. I don't know if you can do that in a year, but if you keep working on the summer, you get closer and closer to that standard or mark.
Definitely.
And that's what he always says. You need 10,000 reps of doing a jump with your bottom arm straight, and that kind of helped me keep to keep going, to keep pushing.
I really like that 10,000 reps rule, because the pole vault's definitely one of those things. If you don't have your 10,000 reps in, you're never gonna reach what you want to reach or do what you want to do, because you need those reps and you need that practice and you need that time on the runway, so that once you get on the runway and you're staring at a bar you've never even tried before, you have the confidence to say that I've prepared enough for this and I know what's about to happen. So I really think that the 10,000 hours is one of the most important things in pole vault, because
100%.
For me in high school, I definitely didn't put 10,000 hours in. I was probably more 10,000 hours in the basketball than I was in track. So I really wish that if I were to go back and change that, I would just focus on pole vault and really try to rep pole vault, because it'd been crazy. It'd been wild. Hold on. Commercial. So, did you do any sports before track? Like, I know, like I said, I played basketball and stuff like that. Did you do any sports before track?
Yeah, I was actually a big soccer guy before I
being in Brazil. I imagine. It makes sense.
It's in the blood.
Yep, something like that.
No, since I was like 4 or 5, I have like memories and like flashes of me like playing soccer, and I really like put in the effort since I was like, I don't know, from like 8 to 13.
Those young ages where you just start playing sports and stuff.
No, I almost played pro for a few years. Futsu, actually, not actually soccer. But yeah, I really enjoyed it, and I think it gave me the strength, endurance, and all like the important skills like respect, teamwork, and all those good skills you can only acquire playing sports, and the competitiveness, of course. And the only reason why I stopped playing soccer is because I just like track more, basically. Yeah, because I went to this one track meet when I was in school, and I think I ran the 200, the 100, and the high jump, and I just fell in love with it. It was so much more fun to me personally to do something on my own and by myself and compete for my own name, to be in a team. And I know that can sound a bit selfish, but it's just just a preference.
Yeah, it's just one of those things. It's a feeling. Like, if you feel,
it's just a feeling.
Yeah, you get a feeling when you're on the runway that's like no other. When everyone's staring at you, and when it's your time to go, and you have to put on a show for the people. And whether if you do good, everybody's cheering, and if you do bad, no one's really saying anything. Yeah. So it's one of those things that it gives you a different sense of pride and a different sense of work ethic to do it by yourself, because at the end of the day, like team sports, you can say that it's not one person's fault that you lost the game.
Mhm.
But
Yeah.
if you lose a pole vault competition, that's
it's
your
100%
fault.
your fault.
It's 100% you.
Yeah, exactly. And when I was playing soccer, I was just I wasn't the best teammate, I guess, when I was playing. But that's a thing from the culture. Yeah.
Hey,
I
he's
was
a great teammate now. Let me just let y'all know. Now he's a great teammate.
100%. But yeah, that kind of made me leave soccer. I was just getting stressed a lot, and I wasn't really having fun with it. And I remember the first high jump meet I won without practice, and that really gave me the excitement.
You were like, "Yo, this is lit."
This is lit, exactly. And yeah, I just started practicing high jump after that. And
Oh yeah, that's dope. Would you recommend kids do any other sports, or would you recommend like me and Kobe were talking about in the last podcast? We recommend that kids try every sport just because it helps you with the mind-body connection and hand-eye coordination and all that kind of stuff.
Try everything you want. Anything you're interested in, I would recommend you have a go at it. I've met a lot of pole vaulters that were former gymnasts, and that's a very common thing to see.
Very
they began their journey in gymnastics and then went on to pole vaulting, and also a lot of others that did swimming or volleyball, mainly in Brazil. But it's really common to see people progressing from one sport to the other because of the skills you get from playing sports in general.
Definitely. So how much of an impact did your parents have on you in your athletic journey and stuff like that?
Oh, a very big impact. They are probably right now the biggest motivation I have to stay in track and stay focused. Since I started track, they've been really motivating me to go to the meets. They've been they're the people that would drive me to the meets and go watch me, even if it's miles away, like Colombia, for instance. And I have a good memory when I was 18. A lot of my friends were getting their first car from their parents, and I was different. I was getting a set of poles, so
that's awesome.
Yeah, they've really incentivized me to keep going and keep going for my dreams, which is to go to the Olympics, and that's been a dream of mine since I was 15. And I'm pretty positive that if I go to the Olympics, I'll see them in the stands. So yeah, that's really, really exciting for me to see that that inspiration I have from them.
Yeah, the motivation it gives you every time you're on the runway and you know they're back there in the crowd watching.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things. Like I saw it when they were here for the meet. I just saw how into it they were and how focused and locked in and they were and wanting to see you do great. And that meet over there when we had all the Brazilians and everybody was turned up, like it was fun to watch, and I could see where you get that motivation from because it's really beautiful to see. Yeah. But yeah, it's been a great conversation. I appreciate you for talking to me.
Yeah. Thanks for inviting me.
Of course. This has been the BitterBuilt Podcast. Thank you for watching. Woo! I'm done!
Yay. Straight A?